All right, so tell us what exactly happened with American Grizzlies United. I don't know why I can never say that right. Go ahead.
The big trick that they like to do is you have these filings that you must submit. And as chairman of AGU, I try my hardest to cooperate fully with the IRS. It's my duty as an everyday, hardworking, patriotic American to not go to jail. So you must file these quarterly reports. And what you do is you mail them in, and then a couple of weeks later you get a letter from them saying, our records indicate that form blah, blah, blah has not been filed. So you file again. And then a few weeks later, you get the exact same letter saying, our records indicate that form blah, blah, blah has not been filed.
Wow.
So you do it again. So after about 3 or 4 times of doing that, I started sending them by registered mail. I have no less than 4 registered mail receipts, which were then followed by 4 letters from the IRS saying, our records indicate that form blah, blah, blah has not been filed. This went on during all 4 quarters of 2012. And when you go to file electronically, oftentimes the login area where you put in your username and your tax exemption login code,
right,
it mysteriously disappears from the computer. So you call the IRS help website helpline, and once you finally get someone on the phone, they tell you that, yes, the website is not working right and it will be fixed soon. Okay, so finally I eventually did get them electronically filed, and then the very day this story broke, I got 4 letters in the mail that I had sent registered mail, so I had the receipts. I got 4 letters saying the exact same thing. Our records indicate that form blah, blah, blah has not been filed.
Oh, my gosh.
So get this. So I sent it again, and then I get 4 letters asking me under penalties of perjury why they were late.
Oh, wow. Just wow. I mean, it's one thing for them to ask invasive questions and to ask for records that are really none of their business, but it's another thing to just straight up relentlessly harass you and to have mechanisms in place. Like, you have to have hired a computer programmer to respond to every Patriot group, our records indicate we didn't receive, and to make sure that when you enter your code, it doesn't enter right. Do you really believe they have gone to those extents just to harass Patriot groups?
I believe that MoveOn.org and Media Matters and similar groups on the other side do not get letters that say, our records indicate that form blah, blah, blah has not been filed. I don't believe that happens to them.
Yeah, and if it has happened to them, why aren't we seeing records of that right now?
Exactly. Now, in their defense, there is one woman at the IRS, bless her heart, her name is Carolyn, and she's worked there for years, and she did eventually give me her personal line there, and she has been very helpful with me and worked me through it. But this was after an entire year of going through this, of filing, getting the registered receipts from the post office, and then getting the letters saying our records indicate blah, blah, blah. After an entire year of that, I was able to get one agent, bless her heart, Carolyn in D.C., thinking about you, your reward is in heaven. She was able to finally get me to file electronically, and then, of course, they wanted to know why it was filed late, under penalties of perjury that I had to sign.
Now, you're in touch with a lot of other Patriot organizations who've been harassed as well. What has their response been? How many Patriot organizations have just given up because they literally can't endure the harassment and the constant? Most of this is the difference. We always joke about this when we go to a so-called Tea Party event or a rally of some sort. That the other side, they pay their union thugs to go to these things. We go outside of the business that we already do. Most of us are small business owners of some sort or another, and we are losing money to be activists while they're being paid to be activists, and yet we're being harassed in addition to that for our political involvement. What happens to these people?
Well, and now we are asked to believe that we're supposed to trust the dexterity and know-how of the big government and the new 16,000 members of these tender-hearted, charitable IRS agents to run our health care, you know.
Right.
So that's a scary
That's
thought
a great
right
idea.
there. You know, but I just can't believe some of this nonsense, though. In their apology, it was very interesting that they said only groups with the names Tea Party or Patriot or 912. That's not true, because American Grizzlies United has none of those names. Our charter, you know, clearly defines that we work for constitutional candidates to provide resources and training of volunteers to help the outcomes of political elections. But the words Tea Party and Patriot and 912 is found nowhere in our online database. And you know, these messages that we're getting out of the White House are just so convoluted, so Orwellian. We're hearing carnies say that an apology doesn't mean they did anything wrong. You know, so you know, America, like we've been saying this all along, it's not going to be fixed by the permanent political class. It's not going to be fixed by a panel of experts or by entrenched out of touch party machines. America's not going to be fixed by the faculty lounges at Harvard and Princeton and Yale. America's going to be fixed by you. America will be restored by you. It's under new leadership that will restore America, and all of us are the new leaders. So we are the leaders. It's in our DNA. It has been bred into us. The leadership that began with Washington was passed to Lincoln, to Reagan, and now it's being passed to us. So it's our duty, and so let's fix this. Enough is enough.
Several of the groups were asked for resumes of their top officers, descriptions of interviews with the media. One group was asked to provide minutes of all board meetings since their creation. Some were asked for copies of their web pages, blog posts, social media postings, so on and so forth.
And books they read.
Yeah. What, were you asked for any of that ever?
No.
So you probably were.
I've only had problems with them not receiving filings that I have filed countless times.
Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely insane that you have a registered United States Post Office registered mail receipt saying that they delivered it to the IRS, and I have 4 of those and 4 matching letters from them saying the opposite.
Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. But you did have that scary warning that says under penalty of perjury. Why was your filing late after you tried to submit it 4 times before?
At least 4 times, yes. And I signed it, and I told them why it was late. And I spilled the tea. I didn't leave anything out.
Very good. Now, do you think that, knowing all of this has gone on, do you think that the Republican administration right now, the Republican leaders right now, have the spinal cord to actually make something come of this that is a long-term positive effect? Or do you think that this is just going to be swept along the wayside like so many other crises with this administration have?
I believe there are some good politicians in D.C. that we sent in 2010, and we sent reinforcements in 2012, and they are holding to the principles that they laid out in their campaign, and they are sticking to those principles, and they're doing something about it. Senator Cruz comes to mind right off the top of my head. I believe those people will do something about it, and they need our support, because they're going to get Palinized, they're going to get attacked, they're going to get called every name in the book. So it's our job to protect them, to help them, to back them up, to have their back the way that they're going to have our back. And we will send them more reinforcements in 2014 so we can restore America. It's in our DNA. It is. It is us. It is our responsibility, and we can fix this. We're moving from a top-down world to a bottom-up world, and you can look at that globally, and you see the exact same thing happening, and we're going to do it.
What's your best prediction as to any impact on this Obama administration ultimately? I mean, do you think he's gonna live out his next 3 years as president?
Well, you know, what was it? The theory of Vicos, that history wasn't circular, it was spiral, but just with different players. I kind of see it that way. So, you know, kind of a downward spiral.
Okay. All right. Well, we will be watching for sure. Keep us posted if anything else happens along these lines to you. And yeah, I want to talk offline with you about this, because I think I might take your story a little more public even. We might need some pictures and things of all of this, because I think we cannot stand down for this, and we cannot sit idly by, and we can't say, oh, well, just because all things didn't go wrong for me, if some things went wrong for me, you know, my story doesn't count as much. I think each story does count. I think we need to compile it and have all that data in our hands, not on our computers, because God only knows what they'll do with that. So, Thomas, thank you so much for sharing your personal story with us. And, of course, best of luck to you, as always, as chairman of the board for American Grizzlies United, California State Coordinator of Organized for Palin as well. Folks can find Thomas at Thomas S. Schmitz on Twitter, and at AGU Grizzlies on Twitter as well. Thomas, thanks for being with us today.
Absolutely.
All right,
God
my
bless you.
friend.
Thank you, Gina.
God bless you.